Modern Shaman question and answer time. So if you're new to me, welcome. Feel free to kind of go browse around on my website, see what I'm about, and connect with me that way, or subscribe and get involved in these videos or the live feeds that we do. There's a great community here of people that are into these kind of topics and question and answering sessions. So I hope you'll stay connected. So the question today for this video in particular was actually like a ping pong question. That's my ping pong. Ping pong question, the ball going back and forth, from a video that I did on parallel universes, where I talk about trying to stretch and understand it from your heart space more so than from your head space. And then someone sent in this question asking, okay, so what's the difference? You know, can you make it clear what the difference is when you mean, or when you say come from your heart space rather than your head space? So the question for today is kind of differentiating those two. So yeah, I can do that. Difference between the head space and the heart space. Okay. This encapsulates kind of a lot of other topics as well. And the main differential here is between masculine and feminine energy, right? Yin and yang. If you're not familiar with that split, so we live in a dualistic earth. Our 3D experience is very polaric, very dualistic, you know, black, white, good, bad. We're split. And a lot of our trying to find peace or balance is trying to come to that singularity, the oneness, the non-dualism point of view. So on one side of the coin of this dualistic experience that we have feminine, and the feminine qualities typically are the receiver type energy. When you just think about in our material form, our bodies, and you think about the way our bodies are made in terms of for intercourse, the woman is the receiver. We have the womb, we have the open channel, okay? We are the receiver energy. The masculine energy is the giver, is the one where things come through, okay? It's the expressive energy and kind of explosive energy. It's the outpouring, and the woman is more of the internal and the in bringing, or the kind of like receiving and creating with that energy. So that being said, the feminine is associated with those type of qualities of being a receiver, being more empathetic, being more intuitive and patient and sensual, meaning noticing and receiving of the senses, having a sense of flow and openness. Now, the masculine is associated with more so of the expressive, physical manifestation type of properties. So this would be more logical, this would be more mechanical and methodical and disciplined and focused, this type of energy. Now, most of our society and culture and education and financial system and government systems all have been running from a masculine perspective for thousands of years. We've been in that predominantly masculine energy. Now there's been a swing, if you've studied kind of Kundalini energy in terms of the earth magnetic field and the earth's chakras, we're swinging back into the feminine of the serpent, and feminine energies are kind of trying to balance it out. So where we are now, it's funny, there's a lot of courses out there, meditations out there that are actually like trying to describe getting into the feminine via the masculine, because we're so used to having to process and be logical and have things make sense in the brain before we accept them, before we receive them. We're used to actually translating energy through the masculine to have to bring it into the feminine. That's the way we've been taught to do it. It has to make logical sense. It has to, you know, go through the scientific method before we receive it. And remember, the feminine is that receiver energy. So it's funny, even we've been taught to process feminine energy through a masculine filter. However, we're coming more and more into that balance and trying to swing a little bit more polaric energy in the other direction. So if you think of a pendulum, right, if we've been on this side, way for so long, and we're trying to swing it back a little bit to come a little bit more to the center, right? So the heart space, I use that term just to mean more of a feminine receiver energy, more of an intuitive, open space. Okay, and in that previous video, just as an example, I was talking about trying to take in the concept of parallel universes and having all of our lives being concurrent, meaning like our past lives, our future lives, it's all simultaneously going on in the now. And when we talk about stuff like this in terms of spirit or, you know, just the metaphysical world, the non-physical world, it almost like explodes the mind, and we can't process it in a logical, you know, manner. And so we have to come from the heart space. We have to come from the open receiver. We have to stay in this energy of like openness, and I'm going to receive what comes in, and then I'm going to process from here, from this space of the womb, and then I'll create with it. Okay, I'll take it in, and then I'll create a baby. I'll create a point of view. I'll create a belief. I'll create whatever I want to do with it. But we have to come from that space of openness. So there's lots of different ways to get into the heart and not just be in the head. But I think this is what a lot of us are trying to balance within ourselves in order to feel a sense of peace, especially when it comes to spirituality. You know, we've been in, again, the religious system is it's a system, and systems are just a masculine structure. They're set up logically. They're set up to, you know, in a pyramid type of structure, to one to feed the other, you know, there's a system in place there. It's a very logical way of doing it. Versus the feminine way is like we bring it all in, we mix it up. Just think about making a baby. You know what I'm saying? We bring all the stuff in, we create, we mix, we mold until we've got a piece of creation, an artist, just like an artist would do, right? It's a different type of creation. It's a very intuitive flow functionality of blending of things. So that being said, if we're trying to get into the heart space, if you're wanting to be able to be more open, to stretch yourself in terms of your point of view, in terms of just your exponential growth as a soul, then first thing is, if you're predominantly masculine and you know this about yourself, you know what I mean? You're like the military dude that likes to like, you don't have to be a dude. I'm talking about just masculine in terms of the way you work as a person. This can be feminine, it can be any way on the outside. But the way that you work, if you like things to be logical, they have to be systematic, they have to, you know, have discipline and focus and form to them, very defined things, then you can actually use that. And you can meditate very logically into the heart space. So if you're going to go that route, my suggestion to you is to do a very like formulaic way to get in your heart, okay? And there's meditations out there that are great about that, moving you into your heart space. Junvalo Melchizedek calls it the tiny heart. I took a meditation class on that, moving into the tiny heart space. So it's a very methodical way of doing it, but essentially like kind of moving your third eye into the center, then moving your third eye down, moving your state of consciousness, your space of awareness into the heart, okay? You know, if you're coming at it from a feminine perspective, you just focus on the heart. You just go into your heart. You feel into the heart. You just feel like you're in your heart space and you're loving and you're thinking from this space. If you're coming at it logically through the filter of the mind, then we may sit, I may say, okay, now we want to turn our internal eyes together, make one little third eye into a crystal ball. Now move your little crystal ball, third eye, down the pranic tube, down the back of your neck and your spine, move it all the way through your chest, into your rib cavity, right into your heart. Now visualize your heart. Now see it pumping. I would be very methodical about the way I move you into the heart in a very physical way. That's one way to do it. But then from there, you feel into the heart. Once you're in the heart, then I would process it from here. What does it feel like to be in the heart? When you think of someone else, how does it feel to think of them from your heart space? When you look at a problem, when you look at an issue, when you look at a decision you're having to make, a conversation with your boss, once you're in the heart space, how does that look like? What does it feel like from there? Because you're seeing it from a different perspective. You're seeing it first from the heart space. Another way to do it, like I said, just go straight from the feminine is just feel into it. Feel like you're in your heart. Stay open, which would be a sense of receptivity, a state of, okay, I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to have to figure it out. I'm not going to be logical. I'm not going to be rational. I'm just going to receive. I'm just kind of going to let it flow. And from there, once I let it flow, once I receive, and I'm in a place of feeling full with this information or this person or this emotion or whatever it is, then from there I will express, I will create, I will do something. So if you're trying to process a relationship or a conversation with a boss or a problem and you want to go about it straight from the feminine, you would just be open to receive information from spirit, to receive information intuitively, to receive information from people. Just be open until you feel like, all right, I'm full of everyone's information. Now I'm going to process it. Now I'm going to take it in and I'm going to just sit with it until I feel like I resonate with something, until it feels, again, that's a very feminine energy quality, until it feels right with me. And I'm going to go with what feels right. I'm going to answer that question of my bosses with what feels right, happy, joyful, blissful, what feels in alignment with my truth. And that's another way to go for it. Yeah, let me think if I can think of any other ways. I would say those are two just very feminine, masculine ways of processing things. Yeah. Even getting into the heart space, there's a feminine way and a masculine way to do it, and to create from there. In my experience, and again, I have both. I'm pretty balanced in both, and I like both. You know, I'd say my dominant vibration stands more feminine in this incarnation, but I enjoy really chewing and processing and being logical, and I'm a total doer. I'm like, let's do it. Let's set this foundation. Let's move into form. Let's manifest. Let's I have that sense of focus as well. But for me, I enjoy the energy first and foremost coming through feminine. Receiving with a state of total openness, limitlessness, freedom. I'm just going to bring in, I'm going to receive, give to me. And then from there, I'm going to create and get kind of good about it. And then I move into masculine. And for me, that's just a more balanced state. I move into kind of logical, and let's get systematic about it, and let's bring it into material world, and let's do it. Let's do this. Instead of the other way around. So, especially when taking in new concepts or spiritually mind-expanding things, heart-expanding things, new relational things, experiences that Spirit's giving you that you just feel like, woo, this is a biggie, this is going to be new territory for me, then I would suggest coming at it from the heart space, because the mind cannot process it yet. You just got to receive until you feel like you've gained enough of that energy to then create something with it. So that's my explanation of the difference between head and heart space. Blessings to you guys. Much love.